want to know a little bit about your transition into becoming the sheriff. How did the employees react to this transition?
Well, obviously it was a difficult transition for them in that this was totally unexpected, that their leader was going to be arrested. Obviously having a new sheriff come down. Typically these transitions take place where elections in November and then the transitions in January. So you have ample time for the new interim sheriff-elect to come in and introduce themselves, work a transition team and organization. Having one where literally you get two announcements within the same discussion, I'm sure brought shock to a number of employees. However, despite that, the men and women have stepped up to the plate. They knew that they had a job that they needed to continue to do. They've done so. They've done so with honor and courage, and I'm proud of them for doing that.
Great. Has there been anything unexpected that you didn't think you would encounter by taking this position?
No, not at all. I spent 25 years in the sheriff's office up in Gainesville, and obviously when I left there, I rose to the rank of chief deputy. So in many aspects, I ran the operations of the organization, both from an administrative as well as investigative standpoint. So nothing particularly shocking for me coming in, but simply knowledge that there was a lot of work to be done in a very short period of time. So my command staff in particular, but some of the other members have spent some very long nights, days here since that transition, but it was necessary. We feel now we have a good organization chart, good clear chain of command. There's still some number of issues that's ongoing, as well as the daily operations of the organization.
Okay, perfect. I also want to know, what are your plans for hiring, say, new employees, especially with the previous employees that have retired? Do you have any plans for hiring new ones? Like, are you hiring like from within or from the outside?
Well, let's address that in two parts. As it relates to the command staff, we simply have realigned that command staff and put some bureau chiefs as temporary chiefs of staffs in those positions. So there's no intent to hire outside staff to carry on with those. I think that's the right thing to do for two reasons. These are men and women who've got extensive experience here at the Marion County Sheriff's Office. And secondarily, it didn't tie the hands of a new sheriff who's going to be elected in 6 months. I think that's also important to leave the clear opportunity and ability for that new sheriff to come in and select and put in place their command staff. As it relates to all other positions within the organization, we're actively recruiting. That does not stop within the organization, being the law enforcement personnel or our civilian staff personnel of corrections. So our Human Resources Division is continuously hiring and recruiting new employees.
Okay, great. Are you thinking about running for office?
I am not. I think I made it clear the first day I came down here that it is my opinion that the citizens of Marion County should select a sheriff from the men that's been out, I think they're all men right now, that's been out campaigning over the last year, going, visiting the communities, giving them their vision of what they believe the direction this organization is from. I think that's the right thing to do, as opposed to an interim who come down for a short period of time. So while clearly there's time to get in this race, I've clearly made a decision that I will not.
I know that former Sheriff Blair's advisory board is planning to meet again sometime. Are there any plans of changing the board or leaving it the way that it is?
I think in light of the grand jury presentment last Friday that we're going to go back and reassess those issues. So we haven't made final decisions at this point, but clearly we need to reassess the current board and the future board.
Mm-hmm. What would you think your reasoning would be behind that?
I think we're going to look at, I have looked at obviously the presentment, and we want to align a board that's, I think, most appropriate to follow the recommendations in that presentment. So that's going to be the reasons for it.
Okay, so you did mention in a press conference something about the TIU, the Technical Investigations Unit, and what is your opinion on that? Are you planning on keeping that, or why do you want to not keep it the way that it is?
Well, that unit was dissolved by Sheriff Blair before he was removed from office, so it does not exist anymore, and I have no intent of resurrecting it, quite frankly.
Is there a reason why you wouldn't want to?
I don't see a need for it at this point.
Okay. How do you plan on changing the image of even law enforcement in the local area, because I do hear from a lot of different sources that a lot of residents are scared to be pulled over by law enforcement nowadays. So what do you think you could do in the months to come to kind of help residents?
Well, the great thing is that while my time has been limited to getting out in the community, because we are spending a lot of times realigning the administration and staff at the Sheriff's Office, I've had the opportunity to get out to a number of community events, meet with some community-based groups. What they're telling me is that they're very happy with the majority of the employees here at the Sheriff's Office and the job they're doing. We all recognize that a few, a dozen or so, tarnish the badge. But the great thing about the citizenry is that they look at the agency as a whole, they look at the services that have been provided, and quite frankly have been provided through this entire episode. There are men and women who are honorable, got up every morning, went out, did the right thing, they continue to do the right thing. So it's a great reflection on them as individuals, that the oath that they took when they raised their hand and swore to uphold the Constitution, that they continue to do so. And the majority of the public is well aware of that. Like anything else, we always know that support is not 100%, so we continuously strive to work with those communities to see how we can also get in there, make them aware of the service we're providing and why we're doing it as well, and we'll do that.
And one of my last questions, about the physical agility exams, did you choose to change those around, or if you could explain to me like what your opinion on those are?
Surely. We came in and took a look at the current requirements, and there was two different levels. One for new hire law enforcement, which is a much more stricter standard than the standard for those employees that were already here. I made a decision that I thought that standard should not be the sole judge as to whether or not an individual could be a effective and great law enforcement officer. I think you have to look at the totality of the circumstances, the whole person. Physical fitness is clearly one aspect of that, because the job that we ask these men and women to do, both in law enforcement and corrections, requires the ability to not only take care of yourself, but inmates, the public, and your fellow law enforcement officers. I simply felt that standard was a bit more aggressive than it needed to be for what we're asking folks to do, so we modified it, quite frankly, so that there's one standard for the time being. We've suspended the mandatory time in that, but we will continue to assess physical fitness over the time period that I'm here, and I'm sure the new administration will do the same.
Going forward, do you have any changes that you would like the public to know that you are planning to set forth?
Well, I think the biggest thing is simply know that we're here to run an honorable, credible, respectful law enforcement agency. We're going to follow state law. We're going to follow our own policies. We're going to ask our staff and demand of our staff that they do the same thing. But ask the public to support your law enforcement officers. You know, these are tough jobs. You know, our corrections, where we have folks who no one wants to be there, but we ask men and women to be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to make sure they're providing good service. So realize that only a few of the 753 employees tarnish the badge. Now, one of those is one too many, but recognize that we're talking about a dozen or so, which means by 4, the majority of these men and women, despite that, have come to work and done the right thing. So recognize them for it. Recognize them from having honor and courage and dignity and pride, because those are the people that I want them to see every single day out in the community.
Okay, perfect. Do you have anything else that you would like to?
Well, I do, actually, now that you asked. Well, just today, we've launched alertmarion.com, which is a website to our Emergency Operations Center, where citizens can go out and sign up to get current and active weather alerts. And there's no better time than now, since we have a tropical storm out there. Those alerts can come to your email address, your cell phone, your home phone, whatever you want to sign up for, all of those, quite frankly, in various social media sites. And not only is it great now so that citizens can prepare ahead of time, but we'll also use that throughout the entire hurricane season. So we'd encourage them to go to our website, the Marion County Sheriff's Office. They'll see a link to alertmarion.com and sign up, and they'll get regular alerts